chérie, chérie, le beau Paris, c'est tout.
Hello and welcome to Paris Set Me Free mini photo tutorials where we look at a photograph and analyze it. Today we're going to look at this one. Just have a look at this for a moment and tell me what you think. Think about anything that comes to mind and then we'll discuss it. I'll give you 10 seconds. So, did you come up with some ideas? Well, it's obviously a multiple exposure. It's the sort of thing that people used to do in the old days on traditional film without winding it on, and that these days you can do it with some cameras. If I've got a Nikon, I never know if it's Nikon or Nikon, D200 at the moment, and you can do it there. You choose multiple exposure, and you can choose how many you want. How many do you think there are here? Well, the answer is 3. So it's a triple exposure, and you can identify them. You've got the bus here. I'm just drawing the outline of the bus, zooming off into the background as well. You've got the houses, the typical Parisian boulevard houses, and you've got this thing here, which is a row of chimneys. It's not these chimneys here, it's other chimneys, but it was taken from the same viewpoint. Now, what you need to do with multiple exposures, it's a marvelous experimental technique. There's no right results. You can't. You can imagine what the results might be like, but there's no way you will ever know what they are really going to be like. So when I saw this picture, I thought, I had a kind of feeling. I don't know if you ever get that feeling where, it wasn't a tingle, but when I saw it, I thought, yes, this is a photograph I'm going to go with. I'm just going to show you what I did with it in the end, because I've already recorded this once and wasted 10 minutes time because I forgot to show you the final result. So here it is, and it's a combination of different elements which come together as a whole. You've got the pensive Parisian girl. In fact, she was standing waiting to cross the road, but she probably saw me, and maybe this is a slightly protective action. There's her arm with the fingers on the upper arm, her other arm going up to her face, covering her mouth. The sunglasses are covering her face. This is the current trend at the moment in Paris, these big sort of goggle eye sunglasses. And she's got the blonde hair. So she's in her own right, she's a great character, but standing waiting to cross the road, herself in her own right wasn't really good enough. So what actually happened, and I'm so lucky, was that I was in the middle of taking this triple exposure. I started with the chimneys, so I wanted a good solid base. It was a risk because the bottom half of the picture was almost black and the top half of the picture was almost white, because above the chimneys was sky and below the chimneys was brickwork. So it was a risk, but as it's turned out, it's worked very well, because look, even though it was dark, when the other exposures that I've taken have also been dark, it stayed dark. But where the other exposures were light, like the girl and her face and her arms, she's come through, and she's nicely backdropped by this section of wall here. And also these two bollards, which could hardly be better placed. The bollards echoing the chimneys. So I'd like to pretend that was planned, but it doesn't matter if it's planned or not. I put myself in the position where I was taking the shots, where opportunity could present itself. I didn't know where she would stand. She was quite a way away from me. There was no interaction between us, and I certainly didn't ask her to stand between these bollards. So this is chance. The bollards nicely echo the chimneys. It's a repetition of theme. Behind the chimneys, I zoomed out and I took a big general shot of a typical Parisian street scene. To be honest, I can't remember if this bus was part of these buildings behind it or not. Judging by the paleness of it, it could have been, but I'm not necessarily convinced. But the bus itself also frames her, which is very nice. You can see the lines of the bus going along here. I have to say I did plan it a little bit. I had in mind what I wanted, but I couldn't have planned it so much that it's worked so well. And in the end, when you look at the photograph, if you like it, you like it. You can attribute it to whatever factors or to whoever you like. But in the end, if it's worked for you, then that's great. The chimney theme here, which is very strong, it's a very strong line going across the photo, is echoed here, up in the top right. There's also something which says Libre Service, and I must admit that wasn't written across those buildings, so I think that is part of a wider shot which I took of some of the maybe it comes from her shot, where there was a grocery store behind her. It's difficult to know, but it's kind of intriguing. It's not a mistake, it's there, but of course you wouldn't have this in real life, but it doesn't matter, because that's part of the composite, that's part of the composition. You don't know what's going to appear where, you don't know what's going to be stronger than what. And if you're lucky and if you plan it, and don't forget, you need to zoom in and out. This is something which I have to stress. For each shot, when you're doing a multiple exposure, don't just stand in the same position, click, click, click. No, you have to change the camera angle, turn it, rotate it, 45 degrees to the left, 45 to the right, or 30 to the right. Zoom in, zoom out, and then you will get something that's really interesting. And if you start to get experience, you can think, what is going to happen to this person in relation to the things I've already taken on this shot, because you can't see it before the final result, which is good really, because it's like in the old days. You clicked and you paid, and finally you got your photos and you saw what the result was. So it's a great experimental technique. With digital with digital cameras, at least it doesn't cost you anything, so there's no reason why not to try it out, and you will probably find that you get some amazing results. Try to have an aim in mind, try to link the different exposures to each other as you're taking them, and you should get some great stuff. Okay, that's it for this time. Thanks very much for visiting. Don't forget to look at the high quality photo on parissetmefree.blogspot.com and look for August 2008, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Depuis que je suis à Paris, le jour et la nuit, je suis gris. J'ai compris la douceur de vivre. Je suis fou de joie, je suis ivre. Depuis que je suis à Paris.